It's round 10 of the Moto2 World Championship here from the TT Circuit Assen. Diego Monrello on pole position, Ivan Ortola and Manuel Gonzalez on the front row. We are a few moments away from the lights going out and the race starting. Let's join our team down the grid with Susie Perry as we actually get ready to go straight into the action, ready for the Moto2 Grand Prix to begin. Monrello on pole position, sunny conditions, it's time for round 10. So, pole position goes to Diego Monrello, Ivan Ortola in second, and Manuel Gonzalez lines up in third. Aaron Canet goes in fourth, with Albert Reynolds in fifth. Barry Boltus goes in sixth position as well, but there is a long lap penalty for crashing under yellow flags to go his way. Senna Igas is 7th from Joe Roberts and Daniel Hologado. Dennis Onju, Jake Dixon starts 11th. He won this race this time last year. Zonta van der Gerber goes in 12th. Marcos Ramirez 13th. Philip Salak 14th. Tony Alberino in 15th. Justina Vietti in 16th. Alonso Lopez 17th. And Aizan Guevara in 18th. Amul Sasaki 19th. Hoy Navarro in 20th. And David Alonso 21st on the grid. Let's check in with our colleagues at TNT.
The Gerber will hope for a good result in front of his home fans.
We then check in with Colin Vire. Adrian Horatus as well, 28 cars on the grid.
Saw with his arm, as Philip Salach, they both came together. Salach starts from the 5th row, he'll be battered and bruised. Nakarin Atarapuva brings up the rear of the field as we get set for this one, Michael. And again, we've got to say it, like all the other classes, no one really is prepared for these kinds of conditions here on race day. That's going to be interesting, isn't it, where we've seen tyres play a part this year?
Yeah, this is a hard circuit on tyre wear, obviously rear and front. This weekend we've had the development option soft rear tyre from Pirelli, and it seems the entire grid choosing the option which has the same soft compound rubber on it, but a little bit more of a stiffer construction carcass. And then on the front it's the entire grid on a soft front, but Philip Salach opting for the harder front tyre. I guess because the track temperature has increased, it typically lends itself to Pirelli's going a few laps longer. I think the pace will be pretty hot here today. But the likes of Salach, I'm interested. He's at such good pace this weekend. Obviously the collision in qualifying did derail his weekend a little, but fingers crossed he's been deemed fit. He's on the grid and he has such good rhythm. From 14th, if he can make his way forward, the SC2 harder front tyre could play into his hands in the latter laps.
Yeah, let's see if that is a wise choice. 22 laps around this place it's not a hard circuit for tyres, is it? It's not one that's necessarily too hard. It's just, but there are some parts where it's fast edges.
Yeah, I always find that it can be. It's not super abrasive, but because you're hanging on the side of the tyre, this section of the racetrack, that even turn 4, you're on the right so long, and if you've got a lot of end force in the front tyre, you can actually tear the front or create some band and use all the rubber. So yeah, you do have to manage it, but it is a slightly older asphalt, so it's not super aggressive on the tyre, but you can use up your front tyre and the rear.
Will Manuel Gonzalez come to the fore once again?
Well, that's going to be the question, isn't it, as they come through. We are all set then for the Moto2 Dutch Grand Prix to get underway. Diego Monrello on pole position. What are we going to witness? This is going to be something down to turn 1. Sunshine, blue skies, revs are up. Lights out, we're underway here in Assen. It's a good start from Monrello. Ortola's going to go on the inside line and get the jump in towards turn 1. Aaron Canet holds off for 4th position, trying to go around the outsides. Again, there's several bits of positions outside as well. They all just get through cleanly, but Adrian Horatus has dropped right to the back of the field. Kind of saw that one coming. Everything just okay through the first 2 corners. So, okay, better stuff, but all our TV graphics have failed, so we're having to rely on the same pictures as you. Monrella, Ortola, Canet, Onchu, coming in as well. Gonzalez, Arenas, Roberts, Baltus, Dixon, Ramirez, all coming through with much faster times. They come through for the first time. 22 laps ahead of us, and up the inside, Onchu's Aaron Canet's not making anything easy, because he's gone back through on the inside line of Canet. Dennis Onchu and Aaron Canet still battling out over 3rd and 4th positions. Smooth start then from everybody. That was the key thing, not to have an accident and a further delay. We already had a red flag in the Moto2 race as well. We're still waiting on news from everybody there, so stay tuned. Also, the Porsche Super Cup race might be slightly delayed at the moment, as we see through the Ruskin hook for the first time. Yeah, it's a good start from everybody then. So, Diego Monrella leading, Ortola, Canet, Onchu, Gonzalez, Arenas, Roberts, Baltus. Dixon's moved up into 9th place, so Dixon's made a superb start. And that was the most important thing. Get that camera! Oh my goodness me! The camera on the crane there was inches from the riders' heads, and several riders had to duck. I've never seen that before. The crane camera goes into the circuit, and we've now got a yellow flag at that part of the track. I hope everyone's come in now, but yeah, I've never seen the riders have to duck to avoid a TV camera. That's shocking action down there as they come into it. Let's head down to the world feed.
Any longer coming through, and Barry Baltus also coming through. Manuel Gonzalez having a tough start to this race. He's down to 8th and actually now level with Jake Dixon. Yeah, I was watching Joe. He hit the brakes and he thought about it, then hesitated. Canet wasted no time. That's a clean pass into turn 5. Difficult to pull off, and obviously there's a slight door ajar. Aaron Canet fit his Calyx machine up the inside. Oh, I thought Jake Dixon had just got through on Gonzalez. It's tight, side by side as they come down the back straight now into the Ruskin hook, and Jake Dixon definitely had the inside line at the front. It's Moreira leading from Canet in 2nd, Ortola in 3rd, Dennis Onchu still there in 4th place, then Albert Arenas in 5th with Joe Roberts. Best we've seen from Joe so far this year. Oh, there's a big crasher there towards the back, and it's Eitan Guevara, I think, who's gone down as Canet. Just forces his way through, barges past Moreira to take the lead. Aaron Canet's looked fast throughout the weekend, as is Moreira, especially in qualifying trim, but yeah, you could see Aaron Canet meant business right from the first lap when he did get attacked by Onchu. You see his rear stepped out though. Jake Dixon did get through on Gonzalez now, so Gonzalez just dropping backwards. Not a great start for the championship leader. Surprising the way he started in Italy. He was so feisty, wasn't he, early on back in Mugello. Not able to do the same today. Yeah, it's strange for Manuel Gonzalez. I thought he was a little out of sorts over the weekend. Not slow by any means, but not his level where he's led the way by 2-3 tenths of advantage in some sessions. But yeah, he's been beat up. The Moto2 riders have smelt a little bit of blood in the water, and they've really attacked him here in these early laps. But Joe Roberts passed him a few laps ago, and he's joined the front group. This was the move from Canet on Moreira. It is a late one here, isn't it? He just goes through. No stopping in there. Yeah, it is such a flat, almost off camber in the apex of the vault. You always get a front end chatter when you release the front brake too soon, and Canet with a lot of confidence and feeling from his front end there to pull that one off. So we're being told Darren Binder has to drop a position, so something's gone on back there, having caused contact. That's not like Daza, is it? That's also, he's got to drop back. That's further down the order though. It's Barry Baltus. He's had one time that he hasn't gone and taken his double long laps. You get 5 laps to complete them both. Is it to complete both? I didn't realise. So 5 laps, that's a short window. He's probably going to have to take his first one now on this lap around. Sorry, the next as he starts it. Yeah, Baltus, that takes him out of contention, which is good for Jake. It jumps him up, but he can chase on. Roberts and Arenas have lost a little bit of contact with Onju, but I think they've got the speed to get back across. Yeah, and the thing there is, Jake Dixon, we know, is these are the weak laps for him, aren't they? He generally comes into a race, although in recent times, as Dennis Onju just had almost like he had an extra gear there, didn't he? Let's go through, just carry more pace. On the inside, he goes through on Ortola. Moto3S, but Onju means business today. He does. I think he was a little close to the green there on the left. Oh, crasher in there. Alonso. Oh, dear. David Alonso, unfortunately, he was having a decent ride in the pack, and he's crashed out in the chicane.
Alonso's out of the race.
That's this rider on track.
So Alonso is out of the race. That brings out the yellow flags locally then so far. He's got tapped by a moth after having to start. Yeah, there he is. Alonso's out. and in the gravel trap. Let's hope he's going to be okay to resume shortly. Lap 4 of 22, Aaron Canet leads, Diego Monrella second, Dennis Onshu in third, fourth for Tola, Arenas in 5th position. And they're still holding on as hard and as they possibly can. They know what this racing strategy is going to be like across the day, and they also know that there's several bits of accident prones around this place, as well as Manuel Gonzalez battles with Marcos Ramirez. Dixon's up to 7th position, and Hologado gets ahead of Ramirez as well. So they've changed over positions. We've gone back to green flag running with 19 laps to go, and Diego Monrella right on the back of Aaron Canet. And do you know what? Do not count out Jake Dixon. Won here last year and looking to be, again, absolutely on the ball as Albert Arenas gets ahead of Ivan Ortola down at the chicane, over the line and moves up into 4th position. Canet still holding the advantage over Monrella at the front of the field. Joe Roberts side by side with Ivan Ortola, and Ortola getting on the curb and having to go off the track as well. Just a slight between them. Binder's completed his long lap penalty. Alonso with the confirmation of having crashed out in the race. So still several having to take through in this one at this time. Roberts versus Ortola then. 5th and 6th positions. Still doing the battles. As we head down, battle for the lead still. Canet versus Monrella. And they're going to have to hold it because at this stage of the race, it's not the go time yet.
They are there, they're all within reach for Jake Dixon. We know he's got good rhythm in the latter lap, so it's important for him immediately attack Ortola, who is, unfortunately for him, slipping back through the order. And
it's good for Joe Roberts again, isn't it? Ortola wanted to lay it on the top of him.
Yellow flags, sectors 2 and 3. Yellow flags, yeah, sectors 2 and 3. Not sure why yet. Can't see anyone dropping off our timing towers. Just local yellows at the moment have come out. So we'll hold on to that in case it has to be something more. It is lap 5 of 22. Well, this is odd. No one's actually gone down in that sector. So whatever this yellow flag is for, it's not a reason that we know about. Oh, it's Antropruva Pat. He's retired for the race. Antropruva Pat has gone down. And the 29-year-old from Thailand, just his second start in MotoGP after, of course, Aragon. Albert Arenas gets ahead of Joe Roberts for 4th and 5th position, so changes back. It's actually nice to do a Moto2 race for a change. Usually I'm not in the commentary box, I'm usually doing something else, but yeah, hello. Canet and more, and yeah, still holding on again as they continue to push through. This race is going to be a race of 3 halves, I reckon.
Wow. It nicely, well done, Joe Roberts.
That's lovely.
You could see him trying to defend down the straight, edging across towards the pit wall. It must have been a back and forth at the Gert Timmer chicane, a compromised exit. They were side by side, but Albert Arenas had the line, and then Joe took the position back, had a beautiful move in the middle of turns 3 and 4.
Well, how good is it to see anyway? There's a yellow flag out on the course at the moment, not quite sure what's happened there at the front. Canet and Moreira, and then it's Dennis Onshu there in 3rd place. Joe Roberts and Albert Arenas just losing a bit of ground as they scrapped for 4th position. And then Jake Dixon has, well, Gonzalez has got onto the back of Dixon once more, so maybe settling into things.
It looks like whatever issues he's having, although wide there. Yeah, gave up a lot of time. He was right on Jake's rear tyre as he entered the corner, but just couldn't turn it in the middle of turn 9 into Bolt. So yes, some issues.
Is it the temperature? Is it the difference in feeling? And he's just trying to manage things to the end of the race because it is a hot pace at the front.
Yeah, the rhythm set by these lead 2 is pretty impressive. But yeah, hotter conditions today. Perhaps he hasn't set the bike accordingly. He doesn't usually have too many issues. Mario Gonzalez can normally rock up and settle a lap time that it takes the majority of the field all weekend to match. So yeah, just not looking as comfortable as normal here.
Dixon's got through an Arenas across the line, so he's now up into 5th place, and that's Arenas next on Gonzalez's hit list, and here he comes through at turn 1.
Barry Boltis is out. Barry Boltis is out of the race. He's crashed in sector 1 at turn 1. So Boltis then becomes yet another retirement from this event. Let's see how he did it into the braking zone. He's just going to lose the front end, isn't he, on turn 1? Yeah, the rear stepping out actually way before the front goes. So that is a not too much brake at the front. Rear steps out. As soon as you put the throttle on, whoosh, straight goes. Look at that. Actually didn't become a high side coming into it. Oh, that's Navarro out too. Navarro is out, and he's got off at turn 3. Front stepped away from him on the entrance into the right-hander at 4 as well. Okay, so that's another retirement. How many left now with? 23. 23 riders left in this race. Barely begun. It's only lap 7 of 22 as well. And look at the battle. Aaron Canet and Diego Monrella knocking 7 bells out of each other right now. Monrella never won a Moto2 race before in 28 starts. Compare that to Aaron Canet, who's won 5 times. Hasn't won those since the season opener, well, actually round 4 of the season, say, in Qatar. I'm so used to being season opener, but it's moved over the last couple of years. But yeah, hasn't won since Qatar, back in April. Onchu still in 3rd position. He's dropped back by 1.3 seconds as well, so he's not going to be in the mix for things to be in contention. Still Canet and Monrella at the front of the field. You're just sort of waiting for something to pass and see if it's going to be an opportunity to have an overtake and sort of hold your hands up, don't you? That it's going to be something more interesting. They're still side by side under the braking zone, and still Monrella can't get through. That's a surprise and a half, really, to come through that there's not been an accident between these so far.
Salak's just come down pit lane, paying too much.
Salak's
We're
out.
not surprised at all. Had to be past pit this morning, and Philip, the Czech rider, is just going to have to rest up before we go to Germany in 2 weeks' time. Alonso Lopez has already had a track limits warning. We are not even at halfway stage of this race yet. You can just see holding onto his shoulder there, Philip, and look, he gave it a go, but not to be. That looks sore. So at the front, Canet and Moreira lead by 1.6 seconds over Denis Onchu. Then he's got another 1.2 back to Joe Roberts.
I think Onju could fall into the clutches of Roberts, Dixon, Gonzalez before the end of this race, but the lead duo, they just look so comfortable. Moreira, you can see the overhead shots. He seems to have a bike set up mid-turn speed. It's really impressive. He's looking at the rear wheel of Aaron Canet all the time in the braking zone.
So you saying this is a bit Marc Marquez out front and Alex Marquez behind, like we saw in the sprint yesterday?
Yeah, very different dynamic. In Moto2, obviously no aero, no wake out the back of the machine through the fast corners.
But I mean, Aaron Canet set up for late braking, perhaps. Corner speed. Ooh, Albert Arenas comes through on Ivan Ortola. That's all to come in MotoGP later on. Meanwhile, here, still Canet and Moreira out front. Nothing to choose between them. Moreira just appearing to sit tight. Feel like he could make a move, as Manuel Gonzalez does on Dixon now. And Dixon would do well to stick with the championship leader, or should I say current championship leader, because as things stand,
5 points.
Canet would be ahead by 5
on the live scoring, but yeah, you've got to hazard a guess that Gonzalez is going to pull back a few more. You've seen it the previous lap around as he entered turn 3. His Cadillac seems to turn a little bit tighter than Jake's Boscoscuro. 1 lap on, and he makes the move in that very part of the racetrack, and already he's gained a tenth and a half here on Jake, so he's got some rhythm. He's going to get across to Joe Roberts on this lap.
1:36.3 from him on the last lap. Do you think they had a benchmark lap time that you know, Gonzalez is just trying to hit? You talk about how smooth he is now, consistent. This was where he just turned underneath Dixon there.
It's what he does so good on the Cadillac chassis with WP suspension. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it was a decision for Manuel to let those others attack him, but perhaps he didn't want to work his tyre too hard and was just getting attacked, then tried to push on and couldn't get the tyres to activate to work, and now it seems like he's settled into a really solid rhythm. The front runners, they're lapping again 36.0 for Canet. We arrived here, the lap record last year was 35.9 set by Sergio Garcia, and these two are pretty much on lap record pace every single lap around.
Yeah, they have been quicker, haven't they, in this race already. 35.5 Moreira did on lap 3. Moreira showed in Aragon when he was beaten to the line by half a wheel by Denis Onchu, just what he's capable of. Second place, of course, in Silverstone as well.
Lovely, let it sing at the end of the straight into the Ruskin hook. Fast there on a Moto2 bike as they go to lean angle at 100% gas, get a bit of spin movement from the rear, then it's back shifting all the way into third gear into the left-hander.
That's the Bolt turn 9. Look at the banks of fans on the outside. So evocative, isn't it? Seeing those grass banks.
Just got the latest news actually coming in as the racing action continuing on, as Monrella trying to go through on the inside of Canet, not really having a word, but latest news from Moto3, Luca Lanetta will go to local hospital for further examination. So Lanetta will be going to hospital just next to the circuit as well, as that is Joe Roberts being repassed, I believe, by Manuel Gonzalez, yeah. So Gonzalez moves up into 4th position. Halfway, and now look, got a yellow flag, sector 1. So Gonzalez, yeah, let's have a look why. Well, this is Joe Roberts, and that was the move again. Oh, who's gone down? Binder. Binder's crashed. Yeah, Binder's crashed. Binder's out. Damon Binder is out of the race. He's up and walking around, so he's okay. But yeah, what was? Oh, it's at. Oh, don't like that. It's at turn 3. Got Marshall's in the position. Oh, and Adrian Huertas has crashed as well. We've got 2 riders down. And where's Huertas crashed? Is that also the same segment of the circuit? Oh, he just dropped it. That was Binder dropping it. What's happened to Huertas? So 2 separate accidents are out there at the moment, bringing out the yellow flags in the first sector. So they'll be able to rejoin. Binder won't. Huertas will. Binder's in the gravel. Huertas down in turn 5. Yep, Canet leading the championship though by 5 points to Gonzalez. Gonzalez moving up into 4th place. Once again going between the 2. Canet and it's just a typical Moto2 race at the moment, isn't it? At the moment, how it's out between the 2.
9 on the last lap. The leader's 36.1. It's 0.2 of a second, but if he can continue to churn those out to the end of the race, and these 2 at the front, their pace does drop, it's not all done yet, is it?
No, we've seen a little drop over the last couple of laps, only a few tenths, now last lap around 36.4, but I think at 3.4 seconds, it's a little bit too much to ask for the difference in the lap times.
Gonzalez now is right on the rear of Denis Ontri. This is coming. There's less than a tenth between them across the line. Is Gonzalez going to throw it to the inside, down into the Strubben? Yeah, you could see it coming. You could see him setting it up. And he's just so smooth as silk to get through. And now Gonzalez, having been down in 8th place in this race after a tough first couple of laps, he's back up to 3rd and back to level pegging with, Canet for the championship as Oncho. I thought he was threatening to lean on the top there through into the Ruskin hook, but not to be.
Yeah, there's a ways to go here for Manuel Gonzalez. I think it's going to require either a bit of battling from the lead 2, so a few mistakes, or a big drop in terms of the tyre performance and lap time. At the moment, last time around, there was only a 1/10 of a second between Manuel Gonzalez and the lead 2. I don't think it's enough. We're halfway his distance, or just past it. Could it be that Manuel Gonzalez could potentially fight for this victory? I think it's a tall order, but never say never with Manu.
At the front, Canet and Moreira do battle for 3rd, then behind, 3.5 seconds behind is Gonzalez, Onchu and Roberts. Now, is Gonzalez able to be released? Is he able to close this gap that we've got? When they cross the line, still 10 laps to go in the Dutch TT, and Diogo Moreira is keeping Canet honest. He's not let the gap get to more than 0.2 of a second.
No, he is riding so close to his rear wheel. You can see there's a potential to pass into the last chicane on any lap. It looks like Moreira gets the run through turn 15. But yeah, very evenly matched around a lot of the circuit.
Enjoy. I wanted to listen to it on board in this part now, especially when they tip it into the Ruskin hook.
All the way up through the box from first gear, exit of the Struben.
Back a couple as they come back to 3rd, through into the left-hander. for the Oscar-Hook, then into the Steckenval. Behind, you can see Dennis Onchu just running wide. He's under pressure from Joe Roberts and Jake Dixon now. It's a good run. I'm so pleased to be able to talk about Joe Roberts at the sharp end of a race. It's been a long road back. His injury, of course, the end of last year's, been something he's had to work hard at coming back from. His crew chiefs off ill at the start of the year, so had to rejig things around in the team. My understanding is he is going to stay on with that team for next year. Has signed a deal with Etan Butbull to stay with the American racing team for another season. And it's good to hear that Joe will be around. We'll still have an American in this championship here.
Yeah, and a solid, strong American with a good American team, and not wanting to jump ship as he did to this team. The Taltrans didn't quite work for him, and a return to American racing brought the best Joe Roberts we ever seen in the early rounds of last year, and injury and the woes at the end of the 2024 season. It's good to see him back on form now.
Yeah, and he has got through on tune now. Yeah, across the line, he's up to 4th place.
Jake's joining the scrap here. As Hodgie said before the race, Jake's got top 5 pace. In 6th now, it looks like Onju could well fall into his clutches, and then it's a potential battle for the last podium spot between Gonzalez, Roberts and Jake Dixon.
I have to say, looking at a couple of shots, I'm just trying to look in the top of the picture, because obviously we're seeing a lot of the front runners, of course, because there's nothing to choose between them, and you feel like a move is imminent. But at the moment, Moreira's just sat tight. Has he learnt his lesson from Aragon? But Dixon looked like he just can't finish off the corners in the same way. I was looking around the right-hander and he's sort of drifting. That understeer problem looks like it's still there. Yeah,
certainly the Bosco-Oscuro guys are complaining a little bit about lack of turning to match the Calex chassis. We've seen some improvements over the last few weekends in Mugello and again here this weekend at Assen, but it does seem like things have gone 180 from a year ago. This point last season, Sergio Garcia was leading the championship. Ayagura had just clicked it up a gear. The Bosco-Oscuro was the bike everyone
Yellow
wanted
flag,
to be
sector
on.
3s. And, oh, it's Dennis Onchu! Dennis Onchu, and that's a biggie. He's up immediately to get the bike, but he's gone off at the last corner. And Onchu was running in a... Well, you can actually see one of the flares that's been thrown onto the circuit. And it's left orange burn marks on the gravel. Yeah, just as soon as he turns in, the front dips away from him, barrel rolls over. He's okay, but that is not the same situation that you want to be expecting at the front of the field. So yellow flag also in sector 3. So that's not even just in sector 4. Somebody else has gone down. And it's Yuki Kuni who has crashed out in the 3rd sector. So we're down to 18 riders. What is going on in this championship at the moment with how crazy it is? And yeah, TKD license go Jay Dixon. Dixon's up into 5th place right now. He is up to 1st, 5 seconds back. Dixon's still in this. There's a long way to go. 15 to 22. And if these two take each other off, which they look like they could do, anything is up for grabs. The Moto2 race is just starting to come into an interest. Look at this, Gonzalez and Canet, as it stands, 1st and 3rd, they are level on points, 159 each going into the German Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. And that might change because Diego Monrella, who's in 3rd place in this championship, is also fighting and is also going for a race victory to try and progress through at the front. 7 to go and everything is on the line here. Honda Team Asia both out in the Assen. Yeah, they both are, yeah. Everybody out at the moment.
And he will not give up the fight.
And obviously these two had a last lap tussle at Mugello that Canet wasn't best pleased about. When we heard the podium interview, he was quite spiky about the move set by Moreira in the final laps, and afterwards Moreira's comments were it's all good fun, it's all great racing, but yeah, let's see if there's any needle between them. So far Moreira's, I think, wisely just sat in his slipstream, let Aaron Canet do the work, but obviously as these laps chip off, 6.5 to go now, I think Moreira's got a little bit more pace. You can see how
he looks like he's just saving his tyres a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah. Turning tight out of it to Struben, just using the draft to stay in touch. Could set up a move around the outside. He seems so comfortable in the draft of Aaron Canet. He could roll around the outside, make a move into Steckenball. He's got the similar move at Ramsey. Look again, he's all over the rear wheel.
All over the rear wheel, and for choosing to sit there. You wonder if there might be a moment soon where Canet decides, look, I'm just going to roll off, I'm going to allow him, I need to have a look at him.
Yeah, Aaron does like to control from the front, and he's had an uncanny ability in the past. I'm talking the past before the victory, where he would give up the spot, but you look at the two now and you think Canet's going to scrap for it. He knows how to race for the victory, but yeah, just the signs I'm seeing from Herrera right now, he could be on for his first ever Moto2 victory today.
We love an all-out bonkers race like we had in Moto3, don't we? We love that sort of thing. But there's times in motorcycle racing that you love a head-to-head as well. You look to pit two riders against each other and see who can come out on top. And this is what we've got here with 6 laps to go in this race. It's Aaron Canet on the 44 at the front, Diogo Moreira, the Brazilian, on the number 10 behind him. And we are no closer to knowing which way the trophies will be handed out.
The Brazilian rider certainly taken a step up this season as we've returned to Europe. Every weekend he's in this podium battle, and yeah, he just looks so solid. I can only put it down to his dirt track background, how happy he is to ride as close to the rider in front. Something some riders could do. Noriega was one of them, would ride all over the rear wheel all race long, even when he doesn't need to, so he doesn't leave much room for error.
The gap has closed by 3/10 on that last lap for Gonzalez, so their pace has dropped at the front. Jake Dixon is the fastest of all of them at the moment. He's just done a 36.3 and he's on the right on the back of Joe Roberts now, so starting to show that consistent pace.
And Joe's only half a second off Gonzalez, so those three all within reach of that podium step, and Gonzalez will be watching his pit board, seeing the gap.
Oh, it's getting closer now, isn't he, as well? Monrella finally finding a way to try and come through. Oh, it's into the last couple of corners. Aaron Canet, though, no stranger to the pressure that you receive in Moto2. That camera, it's really annoying me. They've moved it up ever so slightly, but it's still super close. 5 to go then here at Assen. Oh, now there we go. That's Jake Dixon on the inside of Joe Roberts, securing 4th position. Won here last year, of course, Jake Dixon. And everybody went nuts. Oh, actually, 2023 he won here for the first time, didn't he? Last win was back in America when he went on the back-to-back. Jake Dixon in the early start of this season was unbeatable. Now I missed 4 races in a row, and all of a sudden he's gone back again. That's how it goes, really. Still, Canet holding on. Monrella's not daft either. He knows about the tyre pressures that you've got to keep an eye on. He knows that the Pirelli's rubber goes so quickly, so he's going to wait for the opportunity to jump. Pirelli will become the MotoGP tyre supplier in MotoGP in 2027 when the new 850cc regulations come in. Michelin will swap over to the World Superbike Championship, so Pirelli and Michelin doing a direct swap between the two series, which alarms many people, because that means that Pirelli will have somewhat a monopoly of the 2 biggest world championships on the planet, with MotoGP and Formula 1. Monrella's looking close this time. He was holding it round the exit at turn 13. Some clouds that are approaching that I don't like the look of coming into MotoGP later on. There's a big black cloud directly over the start line here as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the TT here in Assen. It is still the Dutch GP, but it is the Dutch TT. It's whatever it is. It's not what it used to be, but it is still the same old basic event. Unless Monrella can find a way through into turn 4, would surprise Aaron Canet. Canet's gone defensive again. Monrella's going to try and go on the outside. I'll give him a bit of a run down towards Rushkenhoek. He's able to stand the bike up a lot quicker as well and get the better centre times as he comes over the line. Monrella's going for it. Rushkenhoek's an opportunity, but no, Canet had it covered. Just again holding the advantage. By the way, the MotoGP race is going to be on JB2, but from the German Grand Prix we'll be back to our normal routine of practice on the second channel and the racing on the main channel. We just had to avoid the summer lull with the big events that we cover, Indy 500, Le Mans, touring cars at Alton Park, and then of course next week's the British Grand Prix, which is why this weekend's race is on JB2, because we don't want to, because we've got a lot to do during the British Grand Prix weekend as well. Wimbledon starts tomorrow as well. We've got some action over that over the next 2 weeks as well with the team. Yeah. Why are you looking at that with Wimbledon? Centre court matches as well for all the action. And then wrap-ups of what else is going on throughout the day as well. What? Emma Radicari. I can't see what you're saying. But yeah, Wimbledon's going to be fun. We'll cover all the matches on centre court on JBSportsXtra. And then... I can't hear what words you're saying with these headsets on. I'm sorry. These are yours. You should remember how deafening they are. As Gonzalez goes into third position to hold off. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's 3 to go, and I think this is going to be our this is going to be our last lap manoeuvre for Monrella. He's not going to do anything too risky just yet. Gonzalez needs to keep Dixon behind him because Dixon's closing in quite quickly. Yeah, I'm slightly alarmed with how this is going to go. 3 laps plus the post show. Just realised that someone better open the gate. Should be back soon. 12:09. Quite a calm race. Will we get drama in the MotoGP later is the question, Sean. Yes, we will. MotoGP will be a dramatic race. It's Assen. Everything always blows up to 11 here. Literally, in some cases, like in 2013. This feels like a rehearsal for Monrella. He's closing in the last couple of corners. He's waiting to go for a move on Aaron Canet. Yeah, he's going for it. This is a rehearsal. He wants to know exactly what Aaron Canet's going to do, exactly where he needs to put the bike. He'll have one more attempt before it's the real thing. 2 laps to go here. They've got 2.5 seconds to Gonzalez. It's quite surprising, actually, how quickly they've sort of all opened it up. And he's gone through! Canet's made a mistake! Aaron Canet makes a very rare mistake and allows Diego Monrella to go through. The fans went absolutely crazy for the Brazilian. Well, this is a bit of a surprise. What? Canet now knows, unless it's tactical, and he's allowed Monrella through so that Monrella can't do the last lap attack that he was planning a second before. So if this is Canet now planning something, this could be fun. Because that looked too planned. I want to see a replay of that if we can, because the way that he sort of left it go, it looked planned to me. They're still pushing it hard then into the last corners. Yeah, even Simon Patterson's asking, did Aaron Canet give the lead up? I think yes, it looked like he did. Because now he's going to get a great run down towards, through Rushkenut, down towards the last corner. And this is now Aaron Canet's opportunity to practice for the last lap. He needs to know what Monrella can do as well. It's getting closer. If he gave up the lead, that's brave. Because he can't get through. He can't even have a look into the last corner. Well, it's been a tale of two for the entire race. This is the last lap of the Moto2 Dutch TT. What are we going to see between Monrella and Canet? And they have now dropped they've dropped an entire second to Gonzalez and Dixon on that last lap. So they're closing into the fight. Monrella's backing them up. Yellow flag, sector 1. Oh, it's Ivan Ortola. So Ortola's crashed out. He's dropped the front. Diego Monrella could be on for his first ever Moto2 victory. It'll be a day of first, won't it? As well after Moto3. Through now at the back of turn 8. Canet can't find a way through. If he did give up the lead, I can only assume his tyres have gone. 17 left in the race now. Gap coming through. It's the last lap. I'll be there in a minute. Canet can't find a way through. Still going strong. Look at that. There is Diego's family watching on. Still waiting for an opportunity. They could be having their first win. Aaron Canet's closing in. This is the final sector, 3 corners left, and it's the chicane, where we've seen so much drama over the years. Canet tries to go around the outside. Monrella just needs to stand up and now pull the throttle back and go over the line. It's side by side, and Diego Monrella finally wins in Moto2. Such a long time coming. A first victory in Moto2. It's only his 2nd career win after Indonesia 2 years ago. Aaron Canet 2nd by a 56 thousandths of the line. Fabulous. Diego Monrella is the first Brazilian to win in Moto2. Fabulous! Fabulous! We'll hear from him afterwards. Diego did a fantastic job there. Well, that is something to go for it. Anchonet in 2nd. Gonzalez 3rd, Dixon 4th, Roberts in 5th. We'll take a look at the full results. I need to zoom in half the time. Gonzalez, Dixon, Roberts, Ramirez, Arenas, Lopez, Senna gets in 9th. Hologado finishes in 10th. Vietti goes over it as well. Absolutely, just fantastic. That he's waited so long, and I was commentating on the Moto3 race in 2023 in Indonesia when he took his first Moto3 race victory, and how passionate he was then, and how relieved he was to have got it done after. Well, at the time, it was in his first season of the championship. 2nd season, actually, should I say. Made his debut back in 2022 in Qatar. And now in his 2nd season in Moto2, at roughly the same time as well, he's managed to take a victory, which is perfect. So, in a second, we'll hand over to the broadcast team at TNT for all the action for the podium ceremony. MotoGP coming up in about an hour's time as well, where the rain is hanging about in the air. So there is an opportunity that we could see a little bit of a flag to flag. A bit unusual that that's an option, really, to be considered. But no, it was a great race. First Brazilian to win in Moto2 as well. So we're just waiting as TNT have gone to their ad break. Let's take a look then at how the championship stands at the moment as well. Yeah, I believe Megan's gone to sort the issue out with the Porsche Super Cup stream. Oh, I think she has. She'll come in and tell me. That's always an option. As actually, we'll ask her to wait, because let's hand over in about 20 seconds time to all the action from TNT Sports and the podium ceremony for the first Brazilian to win. Oh, and just been announced that Formula 1 is going to have the Austrian Grand Prix until 2041. Right, let's head down back to Gavin Emmett and Michael Laverty in the commentary box, and Susie Perry's in the pit lane.
At the most historic venue, history has been made in the Moto2 class as Diogo Moreira takes victory for Brazil. The first time a Brazilian has won in the intermediate class, and it comes at the centenary of the Dutch TT. Proud history, of course, in the sport. I think back to legends like we had with Alex Barros, who was such a stalwart of the Premier class over the years. Took it to Valentino Rossi on occasion, didn't he? Alex Barros, well, he took it to everyone. He took it to Kevin Schwartz here back in 1993, I seem to remember. Alex Barros was leading in that one, so proud history. And now Diogo Moreira follows in his footsteps. Isn't it great what we'd seen in Moto3 earlier for South America, seeing this now with David Alonso, what he did last year in Moto3. It's great for the sport as a whole.
It really is. The Brazilian GP next year will be a sellout. Obviously, this man has been touted for quite some time. We've had a 2nd place at Silverstone, a 2nd place at Aragon. Just missed the podium last time out at Mugello, and finally the victory awaits. It has been a coming-of-age season for Diogo Moreira. Really impressive with his speed, and now his ability to convert it into podiums and victories as of today.
From Sao Paulo, the 21-year-old, in his second season of Moto2. He just took a single Moto3 victory, but even since then, Michael, we've been talking about him having a MotoGP future. His passport counts for a lot in that position as well, but his riding is doing its own talking.
Exactly. When he does end up with a MotoGP bike, and we're pretty sure that will happen in the future, it won't be a passport ride, purely earned through talent. And yeah, it's great to see, because he has come a little bit of a different route with his way through, and yes, forging his own path right now. Teltran's a great home for him, and some MotoGP experience inside that garage as well, leading him to the very forefront.
Diego Silvente is who looks after him down there. What a special moment for everyone who's supported Diogo to come through. He's been in Spain for a long time, hasn't he? His dad was a motocrosser, wasn't he? Back in Brazil, really talented himself. They moved over to Spain when he was young. Diogo, hugely talented supermoto rider himself, and the Brazilian players, Robbie Brivio, always one for a party. Yeah, but he's been groomed for this moment, hasn't he? It's you know, it's been a long road to get here.
Yeah, he was in the Moto2 team in Junior GP a few seasons ago, and Moto3, when he stepped up into Grand Prix racing, had some shining star type races, but not stand out as he's become a Moto2 rider. Certainly evolved into one of the brightest stars in Grand Prix racing right now. And yeah, I love how he goes about his business, very understated almost. He's not as flamboyant as perhaps he looks on the track, and yeah, he's progressing all the time.
There's Colin Vire, brought home in the points. 2 points for him in his home GP. I've got a feeling about Colin that he will start to, as this season goes on, if he gets backing to return next year, that he'll kick on. Something about Colin that's so methodical, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he has a bright future ahead in Moto2. I like how he works as well, how we've seen him evolve into a front runner in Moto3.
I've got to ask though, can it? Obviously he did the wrong thing by letting Diogo Moreira pass, but can you understand why he let him through?
Yeah, he needed to look.
Let's have a listen to Manuel Gonzalez first of all.
Manu, I imagine there's some frustration at the end of that. It was obvious you had the pace to battle with the top two. Just what happened in those opening laps?
Well, I start as always, not an amazing start, but the first lap I was struggling a lot with the rear tire. It seemed that it's not a good tire, and I was trying to manage a bit the gas exiting the corners, but it was not possible to overtake, because when I was close to the others I was sliding. Then I said, okay, we maintain the calm and do what we have with the bike we have. But yeah, if in the difficult moments we are in P3, I think I have to be happy, no? But we need to work to see what it happens, because the pace was good, but I was not really confident, no? So we need to continue working and go for the Saxering too, with a new mentality as always, keeping our 100% and giving everything.
Another top ride, well done.
Thank you.
Still maintains the lead in the World Championship as well. After Canet was dropped back to second, he's now 5 ahead of his compatriot. But yeah, tough early part of the race. Just back to Canet, we're about to hear from him. Yeah, what do you make of him? He clearly did let Moreira through.
It looks like he conceded the spot to have a look at his rival, and unfortunately for him, it seemed to be the wrong decision on the day.
Hindsight, it looks daft.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You know, you've led throughout the whole race. Why give away your position? But we understand why he did it, don't we? Let's see if he has any comment to make about it to Jack Appleyard down there.
Aaron, I'm sure there'll be disappointment to have lost out after such a great battle with Diogo, to have held him off for so many laps. What are the emotions like at the end of it?
Well, I'm very happy because I'm arriving to the feeling from the last year, step by step, race by race. You know, my big mistake was at the last 6 laps for the end. I broke my windscreen on the straight, so I lose a lot of velocity on the straight. For that was really difficult to arrive to Diogo on the last sector, but you know, I'm very happy because we are arriving. The championship is really long, but we are arriving, and my feeling improved a lot from the last races.
A great ride, well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we saw after the race it was smashed in 2, wasn't it? His screen there, you can see it, and that will have affected his aerodynamicity.
Top speed will be affected, a lot more buffeting on his helmet, and yeah, as he said, didn't allow him to get into position to pass Moreira in the final sector. 5 laps to go. Oh, he's hit it with his head. Yeah, he's headbutted it as he approached the curbs.
He's all over the front wheels that much. So yeah, put his head straight through it. It would have affected things, but then he made the choice to allow Moreira through, and unfortunately couldn't find any way back in front. Had a good look at the Brazilian, but he held off Canet, and Moreira wins for the first time in Moto2.
Diogo, what a spectacular ride. You were so patient behind Aaron for the entirety of the race, and then took your moment to become Brazil's first ever Moto2 winner. How good does that sound?
Yeah, we are super happy. Also, I think we managed the weekend very well, so I'm proud of this. And yeah, the race was amazing. I was waiting a little bit for the end and save the tire. And yeah, finally 2 laps to the end, I passed Canet and I was pushing. And yeah, finally the first victory, so really happy. Now we need to enjoy, and Saxer we need to push more. So thank you so much to all the people who support me at Brazil and at home. So thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Congratulations indeed. And not just those few laps managed well here, but actually the last few races, I think it's fair to say, because we said before, it's been coming and he's been putting the blocks together.
Yeah, been coming, getting the pole positions and a couple of second places. Do you know what? You watch him there, he interviews like he rides. He's calm, methodical, everything's in control. He doesn't ride with emotion. He rides clinically, doesn't he? But he's got a high level of skill. So the bike, he slides the bike a lot more than a lot of the other Moto2 riders, but not spinning like burning the tyre out. Throttle control incredible. I mean, he's the real deal. He's destined for MotoGP. Potentially even next year. There are some talks going on now, but he will be an incredible MotoGP rider.
And we saw Aaron Canet kind of let him pass to have a look at him, which, you know, ended up being a mistake. But would he still have won without that?
Yeah, I was going to say it might not have been a mistake, actually. It could have been a really good strategy. I think Diogo Moreira, sorry, had the better pace. He had control. He was in control the whole race long. He was behind, saving his tyre. And yeah, for Canet, this was the right thing to do, actually, to have a look at it. Don't want to have your rival like that behind you that's been studying you all race. So yeah, he tried it, didn't pay off because Moreira just had a little bit more to pace, a little bit more pace than him at the end, and it was revenge after that massive duel last week in Mugello. And Canet won for the podium. Moreira is able to get that first win. Very well deserved. How class does he look on the bike? Sort of look like he's like floating and dancing with the bike. I absolutely love his riding style, and I fully agree with Neil. In MotoGP, I think personally they will translate very well as well those bigger bikes. Yeah.
What did you make of the Canet move?
Yeah, I actually, we really disagree. I thought it was a really silly thing to do. You've led the whole race. I think he would have been a sitting duck. I still think Moreira would have won. So, but you never let your opponent pass. Racing's tough. And as soon as Moreira got in front, we were in the commentary box, I went, watch this, he's just going to put the hammer down, and he did. And then Canet couldn't grab him, could he? You're like, why did you let him pass?
Slightly confusing for Manu Gonzalez in those early laps in that interview. He said he was struggling with the tyre and actually thought he got a duff tyre, which it seemed to take a while maybe to come in for him.
It can happen sometimes. Sometimes you get that feeling, especially from one day to another when you get very different conditions. Today the track is much warmer, and the bike, the tyre, the rear tyre, as he described it, did not respond to his input like he wanted to. So he was lacking that rear edge grip. Didn't panic though. Manu Gonzalez take it step by step and make his way back on the podium. So for him, it was about damage limitation with that race today.
And we're about to welcome the winner today. Look at that. That's how much it means for Diogo Moreira.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it, to see the Brazilian flag, the Alviverde, up on the top step, the golden green in Moto2, isn't it? So pleased for him. So pleased for the Italtrans team as well. Of course, they won the World Championship previously with Enea Bastianini, and Moreira in third now and looking good for a title tilt, perhaps. He sits only 31 behind Manuel Gonzalez, who retains the lead in the World Championship. Tough early laps, as Susie just mentioned there, but still sits on top after Canet came home in second place. 5 points between the two Spaniards, but if Moreira can continue this kind of form, it won't necessarily be a two-way battle. Another second place trophy for Aaron Canet. Got far too many of those over the years, but another strong ride after a really forceful early few laps. Let's get ready then to celebrate with Diogo Moreira. Brilliant for motorcycle racing to have a Brazilian winner in Moto2. Sure, he'll be in MotoGP in the future. A star in the making. Alex on the 75th anniversary here.
Very faintly, we heard the national anthem for Diego Moreira, who's won his first Moto2 race. Next up, it's MotoGP here from the Dutch TT. Moto2 returns to the Saxon Ring in 2 weeks' time.